Hello everyone and welcome to Hello from Finland. We continue our series of videos about the Soviet Union. First of all, I'd like to ask you a question. Black market and corruption, is that one and the same thing? I don't have an answer to this question, I'm just asking you. But I have an opinion. In my opinion, back then in the Soviet Union, black market and corruption were one and the same thing, and at the same time a little bit different things. So, just at the beginning of the video, I'd like to describe to you one special type of black marketers. In my opinion, they were top class. Those black marketers, they had Western clothes, they dressed like Westerners, like foreigners, and they looked like foreigners among the Soviet residents. I used to know two guys from Leningrad who traveled to Moscow, got accommodated in one of the tourist hotels, and they just pretended to be foreigners, and they did their business there. And the ruse, the trick was that one of them used to know a lady that worked in the Central and Tourist office in Moscow. It worked like that. You gave that lady a series of small gifts like lighters, ballpoint pens, pantyhose, and probably a glass of French perfume. And she gave you a voucher that allowed you to be accommodated at one of the tourist hotels. Let's say, for example, the Cosmos Hotel. Those two guys dressed like foreigners. They stopped speaking Russian as soon as they entered their hotel. They spoke English so good, their English was so good that third parties like the Soviet police, they could not identify them as Russians. So they did their business and traveled back to Leningrad. That was smart, that was cool, but that gave no warranties. A sort of Damocles was always hanging over their heads. Let's talk about corruption now, and a short disclaimer. All I want to tell you now is what I experienced myself. So, our talk about corruption starts with my experience in a taxi company in Leningrad. This was my first real job as an adult man. I was 22 years old and I started working as a taxi driver. So my first experience. The very first day I spent at that taxi company, all their colleagues, taxi drivers, explained to us newcomers. There were about 5 of us. We knew each other, and so we came to work there at the same day. That was our first day on the job. So the older colleagues told us that what we should do, what we actually had to do. The salaries or wages were paid out twice a month. So at every payment day, we were supposed to give 10 rubles to the unit boss, Vladimir Kovalevsky. That was his name. I still remember that. So, one time 10 rubles, and then the other payday 10 rubles. So, I was a very curious young man. So I asked, "What for?" And the older colleagues, the older drivers told me, "For the right to work here. Everyone who works here pays that sum to the unit boss." In the unit there were about 20 or 30 Volga cars, taxis. So, and there were other payments. For example, if you want to work night shift, you pay him not 10 but 25 rubles on every payment day. If you want a better car, for example, yours is too old and breaks down often, so you want to have a better one, so you pay him 50 rubles. That's apart from those from the bribes that you pay him on payment days. You pay additional 50 rubles and you have to wait a little. Then he assigns you a better car, not a new one, but the one that does not break down so often. Then if your car is broken down, something broke in your car, so it goes to the repair section, or as it was called in the Soviet taxi company, repair zone. Your car gets repaired. Officially, it costs nothing, but depending on the scale of repair, you were supposed to pay the repairman about from 3 to 10 rubles, depending on what kind of repair that was. So what else we paid? If you had any problem with controlling, division of control, I don't know, a proper English word probably does not exist in English-speaking countries, but there was a special unit that was not police. It was called in Russian the unit of control and revision. So they tried to catch taxi drivers who broke the written rules, for example, who did not turn on the taxi meter, the gadget that counted kilometers and rubles. So if you got caught, there was a threat that you could be suspended for a month. But if you paid your unit boss, I don't remember how much for something like that, because I did not do that, so I had no personal experience with that. But you paid your unit boss and he settled the question and everything was all right, everything was okay. This was my personal experience as a taxi driver. And one of my friends who started as a taxi driver on the same day with me, he then switched to the profession, to job of a waiter. He had to do a special course, 6 months, for waiters in tourist system, and he started working at the Hotel Europe. And the next part, I want to tell you about bribes and corruption at Soviet restaurants and cafes. So that was it so far. My first video about corruption in the USSR. And thanks so much for watching this video. If you liked it, or if you didn't like it, show it by smashing either the like button or the dislike button, and please write your comments, because I wanna get your feedback, even from so-called Soviet wankers who still love the Soviet Union. So thanks again for watching this video. Hope to see you soon here again on Hello from Finland.